Let's see. Let's play with the screen a little bit. Trying to figure it out. Still trying to figure out my phone. Okay, my nose is so red. Oh, my sinuses are draining. It is the winter season, y'all. So I decided, since the fam's not here. Nope, they're not here. The panic when you start talking about someone and you're afraid like they're in the room or they can hear you like over the phone or something. So you like pick up your phone and check and make sure you didn't like accidentally dial or whatever. I have that problem all the time. Anyway, what was I going to talk about today? Oh, allergy stories. I know I did one already. I can't remember what it was. I'm going to look it up real quick. Let me pause. Oh yeah, it was the dentist appointment thing. Or had the allergic reaction there. And I'm having this issue with YouTube where my Storytime playlist is not showing up on the home page. It's just my supernatural blooper reel playlist. And I've customized the channel multiple times, and it shows the Storytime playlist. And then I go back in, and see, look, there it is. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. If somebody understands what I'm doing wrong, please help me, because see, it's there. I have to do this? No, I don't want an introduction video. To just be the only one. I want the whole playlist. I'll play with it. I'll figure it out. There's been some other incidences with my allergy, my latex allergy. I know there was one time when I was little, and for some reason I remember we were coming from the hospital, but I don't know if that was it. Because the car was like full of balloons, and like we had to turn around and go back to the hospital, or we were somewhere else coming home with a car full of balloons, and had to turn around, go to the hospital, because I started having symptoms. I get red. It's like red over here. And that's the first thing nowadays. Now, my sisters, my cousins, everybody knows what to look for. So they go, your face is really red. Are you okay? And it won't be like a hot day or something. Like, I think I need a Benadryl. And then my nose will like get all drainy and my eyes will water and be itchy. And then the bad stuff happens, like I can't breathe and all of that nonsense. So I remember that one. They had to turn around, take me back downtown, or something like that. I'm so bad at this. Obviously, it worked out. I probably got an epi shot at the ER and a breathing treatment. Oh my goodness. There's been some other ones. I'm going to pause because I can't think now. While I was paused, I figured out my playlist situation. I think so. Hopefully, when you guys go to my page now, it will show the playlist of all my story times. You'll be seeing one coming Christmas Eve. Anyway, I thought of the other allergy story I wanted to tell. And oddly enough, it happened at a spina bifida convention, like the national one. I was in like my early teens, and it came time to do the activity while the parents were in all the conferences. And was it in Louisville? It might have been in Louisville. So we also went to the Science Center there, the Slugger Museum, which was really cool. I actually ended up suggesting that for my 8th grade field trip because the plans had fallen through as our teacher had gotten sick. So we had to come up with a new idea quick. So I said, hey, let's go to Louisville and go to the Slugger Museum and the Science Center. And that's what we did, and it was so much fun. But I remember this convention, I believe it was there in Louisville. One of the days we went to, I don't know, I guess it was in the hotel building, just like in one of the conference rooms or something. There was one of those giant service elevators was involved. I remember it was one of those just gray mechanical ones. None of the fun little bells and whistles. It wasn't decorated fancy or anything. And it took us to a lunchroom. And then we would break up into small groups, and they would take us to different rooms for different activities for, I guess, different age groups. They took me to one. I found this very odd, but I guess it was, the latexology thing was still a new concept, I guess, so I can't really fault them completely. But I went in there and they were bowling, but they had rubber bowling balls. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I had the latex allergy. And they were like, oh, we're giving out gloves, vinyl gloves to wear. I'm like, no, I can't breathe in the latex particles either. It affects me with touch and by breathing in the particles. And I do remember them looking at me like I did not know what I was talking about. I was a kid and they were adults, so that's probably what they thought. And like I said, the latex allergy concept was relatively new, which is why they had gloves for the kids. So they were trying. Nowadays, I don't think anywhere I go, they don't have the latex gloves in like doctor's offices or anything anymore. Everything is mostly pretty well labeled. Although a few years back, most of these stories happened around when I was like a teenager. Like this one, my urology teacher, my urology doctor, he was the best doctor I had. He did my Mitrofanoff procedure, and he knew I was anaphylactic, and he didn't want any problems, and he was no nonsense. He was like, we're gonna make sure, painstakingly check every instrument, every thing we're going to be using for this procedure, to make sure nothing has latex on it. All it took was, I think it was the sutures were not clearly labeled. So it wasn't his fault. It was the company who made the sutures. They did not, or whoever manufactured the suture packaging did not clearly label it. And that's all it took for me to apparently go into anaphylactic shock on the OR table. Of course, I don't have any recollection of this. The only way I know about it is because people have told me, my family has told me about it. I obviously don't remember any of this happening because I was out. I was asleep. The procedure had begun. I guess if it was suture time, it was almost done. I don't remember. I don't know if they had to like undo the sutures and find a proper kind or whatever and then redo it. I have no idea how that. I guess they would have to. But I guess that was a pretty scary situation, at least for my parents, because I was not aware of it happening. I remember one time in the hospital after a surgery, somebody was coming in to clean my room and had latex gloves on to clean the room, and my grandmother was trying to explain to the woman that she could not be in my room. She was showing her the clearly displayed latex sign on my door. It was all in red, but I guess there was like a language barrier, and she didn't understand. I've never had a problem after that. I think they're doing a lot more to like educate all the staff. Like, you can't have this in this person's room. I know that the last latex thing I remember having an issue with was a few years back at our family Christmas party. They had given all the kids those huge rubber, basically balloon balls on those strings that you just like hit back and forth. And I thought if I stayed on one side of the room away from the kids, I would be okay. But sure enough, a little while later, I think it was my sister, came over and was like, "Your face is red. Are you okay?" And I realized I didn't feel all too well, so I had to be brought over to my grandma's house, which was only a couple of minutes from where we were having the party. And I took a Benadryl and chilled for the rest of the day. But for the most part, oh wait, I forgot. Oh my goodness. I forgot about the craziest one recently. I have a suprapubic catheter, and I've been having a lot of issues with it getting clogged up and stopping working before I'm scheduled to go into the doctor to get it changed out, which I do now every 3 weeks. It closed up. My parents had to take me downtown. They told us to go to UC, which is where the doctor that did the procedure is affiliated. They said, "Come down there. They'll take care of you. They'll get one of us to come down and see you." Blah, blah, blah. So the next time I had a problem, that's what I did. We went all the way downtown, which is, let me look. It says it's a 52-minute drive from here, my grandmother's house, to Cincinnati Children's Hospital, which now I realize is not the hospital that I was talking about. Hold on. Okay, well, obviously it's about the same amount of time because they're right next to each other. Okay, I'm going to edit some of this so I don't look so stupid. So yeah, we drove 52 minutes in the middle of the night. This was happening. And we get down there, and it's a long, long wait. And I registered, and I told the guy I had the latex allergy. He put a red bracelet on me. But I don't think he put it in my file on the computer. I don't think he entered it in. Because when I finally got back to a room, which, by the way, I hate their new system. It might be safer. I don't like it. They have me go back first to triage, and then come back out, and then just me, the patient, goes back to a room. So my parents are out in the waiting area. And I'm back there for a good while, and my bladder is full by this point, and I have to get on this stupid little gurney, which is like so high off the floor, and I am only 5 feet tall. That's it. I have been since the 5th grade. I have not gotten any taller since the 5th grade. So I finally get up there with a little help from one of the orderlies. Nice guy. He wasn't too annoyed with me. I was like, dude, I just need a boost to get up here. I was waiting for a very, very long time. I finally got a nurse to come back and talk to me and told her the situation. And then it was another wait before she went and got supplies. And just as she's about to put the new catheter in, I think this was before the suprapubic. This might have been, I can't remember. It might have been like right before the suprapubic, or it was the suprapubic that they were replacing. But just before she did replace it, my mom finally walks in. They finally allow them to come back, which I don't know why, because they didn't say, hey, do you want your parents to come back? They never did ask me that, so I don't know why they randomly let them come back. I'm glad they did, because the woman was about to put a red latex catheter, the red ones are always latex, into my body. I couldn't see it from where I was laying. I was laying flat on the bed, and I am a big person, so I couldn't really see. And I was stressed out and in pain, and had been there way longer than I wanted to be. Which I guess any amount of time at the ER is longer than you want to be there. But so my mom comes in and goes like, whoa, 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 what are you doing? That's latex. You can't put that in her. And she looks confused. Which ultimately tells me that nothing in that chart said anything about my latex allergy. So when they registered me and put the bracelet on me, they didn't indicate what the allergy bracelet was for. I was editing and I realized I left out part of the ER story. The reason, one of the other reasons we knew that they hadn't put down in my file that I was allergic to latex was because it was on full display on the computer screen. And like I mentioned, there was only a curtain for a door. Anybody could come in and read my chart and all my personal info. And that, I forgot, I was going to say this, and then I totally blanked out of my brain. But, at one point, for some reason, it was just me and my dad in the room. Mom might have gone to the restroom or something, I don't know. The nurse had gone to find, the silicone catheter. Guess what? It was, like, in the OR area. Totally different part of the hospital. So she was gone for a good amount of time, and I think at one point before even that, she had to figure out where it was. My dad was watching through the curtain, and she and another nurse were like arguing over who was going to go get it. Meanwhile, I'm sitting on the gurney, bladder full. I've been there for hours in pain, and it's late. Mom and Dad have to work in the morning. This was just one of the worst ER visits I've ever had. So yeah, I'm gonna have to add in this little snippet, and hopefully I can apply the same filters even though the light is on in this video, and it's not in the other ones. So yeah, there's that. Oh, that was a long night. It took forever, And then when they finally got to the point where they thought we were done, they were like, we want to get a culture. And that was going to take even longer. We already know this. I've dealt with this. I know how long this takes. And I know that my doctors are just going to be like, we don't want to give you anything if you're not like showing symptoms of a UTI, because we don't want you to be immune to the antibiotics, which I get. But this nurse wanted to wait for the results to come in, and we were like, can we just go now? We were there for 6 hours. 6 hours. It was like midnight before we left. And my parents had to go to work the next morning. Which is the thing I hate about not being able to drive. Is sometimes my parents have to drop everything they're doing, take off work, to take me to things. Like, I just got a Botox injection for my bladder, and the first time was a riot because they couldn't get an IV in, so they were going to just give me calming medication through a syringe, which took forever for them to order, because I think he had to sign off on it. The doctor had to sign off on it, and it takes a bit to do that, as they do. They gave me the calming medicine and something else. Oh, the bladder numbing medication, but that does not work on me, at least not anymore. I think it did at one point in time. It doesn't work anymore. I think, just too much scar tissue, and it just overrides it. It does not work. So I basically went in fully awake. Oh, and the calming medication didn't do a thing. I was not calm. It was very painful and upsetting, and they didn't even get to do the Botox injections. He decided to biopsy something from my bladder, which turned out there was nothing wrong. So that was good. But he was doing that, and I don't think that was on the roster for the procedure. I know it wasn't. So I did that without anything for pain. Well, technically I had something for pain, but it doesn't work. So I felt all of that. But he finished that up, and he gave me the option, do I want to try doing the injections through my stoma? So I opted to just wait and try again to do the Botox part, because, yeah, I was in so much pain at that point. So we did that. So my dad had to take off 2 days. And that wasn't the first time he had to take off an extra day. There was another thing he had to take me to that I was supposed to be put under anesthesia, and I wasn't. I think it was just a scope procedure. But at the last minute he decided, I'm not going to put you under. As they were getting ready to put the IV in. They put the IV in anyway. So my dad didn't need to drive me down there because I wasn't put under anesthesia. So I ended up coming back a second time for a scope and a biopsy. That time I knew there was going to be a biopsy. And then again with the Botox, the first time Dad wasted a trip because I wasn't under anesthesia. The second time I was, and things went slightly better. I had to have a PICC line put in, and that was not fun, but it's better than nothing. So, but yeah, I remember that night at the ER, by the end of the evening, my mom had that poor nurse so scared. She was terrified of my mom by the end of it, but you know what? It was such a bad trip. And she almost put a Catherine that could have killed me. I could have died had my mom not come in at the exact right moment. And I'm guessing they didn't tell them to go back. I'm guessing my mom was like, we're going back there. She's been back there for way too long. So I'm pretty sure it had been a couple of hours just in the examination room at the ER. A couple hours in the waiting room. A few minutes in triage. Like a half an hour longer in the waiting room, and then in the exam room, which wasn't a room. It had a curtain. Which is, I guess, whatever. But, yeah, that was a long, long night at the ER, which I'm used to, but that was ridiculous. So, yeah, those are some allergy stories for you guys to enjoy. And I have got to find a filter app for this video because I look awful until my sinuses are draining. It's that time of year. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed those stories, including the bonus story, which I guess I can cross off my list now. It doesn't have to be a standalone. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.